from my mom. Any messages from my mom? You're about to have something work out so that you can take a step forward. It's not a leap forward, but it's a step forward. In whatever area you're struggling with, in terms of where it feels like your mind is fighting with itself. And that fell on the floor. That's the area that you're going to get a piece to move forward from. Will I sell my car? Will I sell my car? Not immediately. I think that there's some kind of different action needed to be taken. So maybe fixing something that needs to be fixed, or maybe something about a price adjustment. Feels like you can after taking some kind of action, but whatever that action is what's holding it back. Oh, I clicked the wrong button. Is A still my buyer, and will I receive bids from the lat viewings? Is A still my buyer? Yes. Will I receive bids from the lat viewings? It doesn't say yes, but maybe not necessarily a better one. I'm being called back to more raw plant foods. Am I supposed to eat mostly plant foods with like 15% protein or something else? I feel like maybe looking into something specific for your nutrition, maybe doing like a food sensitivity thing or something like that. It just feels like you're going to be missing too much of something that right now you need. Doing it that way. Gavin wants to say hi.
Hi.
They can't see you. You gotta come down here. Come
down.
Hi. That's all the people on the side.
Oh, I mainly came in here for this, by the way, because I saw it on the ground.
Thank you. Maybe there's a butterfly reference for somebody here. I think that's what that is anyway. Okay. Will my new partial work this time? Will my new partial work this time? Temporarily is kind of the thing I'm getting here. And I know you're saying partial. It feels like this isn't a permanent fix, whatever it is. It works for a time, but not permanently. Why has Vasco reacted so angrily when I told him how he makes people feel, and will he make peace again? It's an internal thing. I don't like seeing myself clearly. Will he make peace again? Not until he handles these emotions a different way. He's just trying to flip what he doesn't want to face internally, externally. So until he makes amends with that, it's going to be the same cycle. What's the best strategy to advance in my career path? Releasing some kind of expectation placed on you, or lid placed on you. It feels like there's a skill set that you're not utilizing fully because there's a need to release what you think is possible with that skill set. So maybe, for example, you don't think that you could be like the manager role or whatever. So you're subconsciously holding yourself back. It feels like something along those lines. Like it's right there. You're just telling yourself it's not reachable. Message from my guide, Eric. You're not out of the test yet because you're meant to see yourself in action. It's not that you're doing something wrong. It's that if your patience is being tested and you're only have to be patient for 5 minutes, it's different than if you're patient for a couple weeks. So it feels like the message is it's not that you're doing something wrong. It's just that the test isn't completed yet because you need to see yourself in action. Will I get a part-time job next month or so? I feel like it's a little bit further out than next month or so. Maybe needing to expand the parameters of where you're searching, but this is a little bit more patience needed with Temperance. Message from Grandma. Message from Grandma. There's something that you've been handling with integrity, and you're not doing it for that, but she's acknowledging that she sees the way in which it would probably be easier for you to handle something with less integrity, but you're remaining true to who you are. Any message from Spirit? Any message from Spirit? There's a need to release the expectation that something is going to go wrong. It feels like almost if you think that you're about to take a step onto like a pond of ice, but it's really cement, but because in the past it was ice, your brain has convinced you that it's going to crack when you take a step forward. But it's not this time is the message. Yeah, it's not this time. You can take a step forward. Message from my guides and a song. Hold on, I'm going to change this. Dead Set by Max McNown. Dead set on what? Dead set on justice. Something's being maneuvered in your favor as it pertains to justice or something due to you. Yeah. 3 to 9 months feels significant about that coming in, something that's been due to you. Am I right? And Jay took the flooring from outside the house. If so, why? No. Jay did not take the flooring? No. I don't think so. What are you misunderstanding about what you came to the conclusion of? Misjudgment of timing. Could there have been someone else there around that time? Does my late daughter-in-law have a message for me? It's like there's something in front of you that's being maneuvered for you to see it clearly. So trust the timing of the way in which you're flowing forward. It's like there's something up ahead that you can't see if you keep looking back, is I guess the way to word it. My guides have any advice on participating in the beta test for online healing? That looks positive. I kind of get the message of you are going to get out of it what you put into it, like beyond that. Like you'll get more out of it if you continue like the whatever upkeep would be at home, but it does look positive. Will my daughter-in-law stay with her husband? It feels like yes, but it also feels like there's something like that doesn't make that yes very simple. Like they're either trying to work through something or there's certain hurdles that are making it like a close call, but that they end up staying. Is my cat dying? Is my cat, what do we need to know about your cat's health right now? I do think that there's something going on. I would kind of word this as it does feel like there's something going on that's like a snowball rolling down a hill. So it keeps kind of either gaining speed or size. I feel like the next 5 months are going to be significant. Put this to May. May, June feels significant for like either turn a positive or a negative turn. What should I stop doing that drains me? Time, energy, or creativity? It's like you're stopping expansion before it can happen. Maybe that can be translated as like needing to know what comes next instead of just taking the step. Or let's say it's like art, right? Like maybe you're looking at it as, okay, that won't be good enough to sell, and not just allowing yourself to do the art, like that type of thing. It feels like some kind of blockage of expansion. Disconnection. Stop second guessing your decision, your initial decisions. It's okay to think back through them and like validate, okay, yeah, this is why I made the decision. But I feel like you do it from a perspective of like, no, I must be wrong. I need to find where I was wrong at. I feel like that's the disconnect. Does Daisy have any messages for her mom, dad, and siblings? She's there in the little ways and in the big ways, but there's a feeling of like, I don't know if people like maybe are okay. I feel like everyone is kind of worried to upset anyone else about bringing her up this time of year. Like they'll want to say something or bring up a memory, but they second guess it and overthink it. And I feel like she's saying that from her perspective, everybody can, like, they're fine to handle it. Like if somebody brings up her, the other one's not going to be upset. They're going to be like, oh, cool, I wanted to also bring her up, but I hesitated. Does that make sense? That's the message I'm getting. King of Pentacles reversed. So maybe this is, maybe it's her dad that everyone's fearing upsetting, but it feels like he will be fine, is the message. My doctor apparently duplicated the lab order. I don't need another mammo right now, but maybe in 6 months. Any insight? Okay. Was that the one where I said they're going to keep an eye on something? Because I wonder if that's a weird translation, if that's the case. Accidentally duplicated the lab order. I don't need another memo. I mean, yeah, I would agree that another one's not needed right now. I feel like maybe that's the keep an eye on the thing. Hanged Man's reverse. So I don't, this to me would, if it was upright, would be like maybe get a second opinion, but it's in reverse, and so is Five of Cups. So I feel like that was the right decision to, like, I feel like the extra one wasn't a sign to have it double checked, essentially. We're going bridal dress shopping today for my little sister. Managed having a really hard time already with her mom not being here. Does she have a message for Amanda? I feel like that, I don't know if you were in the room when my son brought this in, but for some reason I feel like this is in reference to this message. It's like, it's a butterfly. I think it was a piece of a Christmas ornament that my cat's probably removed from my Christmas tree. That feels to go with this message. She's going to talk through music today. Could you maybe make your sister a little playlist with, like, I don't know, like 10 or 20 songs? It doesn't have to be a lot. But I feel like your mom is saying, yeah, both of you. I feel like your mom is saying, if you give her the words to say and the time to say them, she'll say it. So, like, let's say you make a playlist with 20 songs real quick. And then when you're out, if your sister's having a moment, hey, sister, pick a number. Okay, she picks 3, 1, 2, 3. Now you have your mom connecting to something that was already set up. I feel like that's the message. Like, she'll be there with you if you give her the platform too, I guess you could call it. All right, let me go to this list. Is Tracy Flint trying to push me under the bus with her non-action and lack of input? She trying to push you under the bus. if it's the wording of like I'm willing to step on you to get ahead, or I'm willing to step on you to get my way. I feel like you could be interchangeable. Like if you weren't you and it was somebody else, they'd be doing the same thing to somebody else. But I do think that there's some bit of I need to make myself look better by stepping on you. Will work allow me to start remotely 2 days a week if I request it? Not immediately. Maybe in time, maybe if you put in the request, they'll put you on like, okay, next time we have an availability or something. But this looks like not immediately. School March. I don't know if maybe March feels significant, but I don't know if that's like next year, like the next school year. Like if you request now, you'd get approved in March kind of thing for the next year. I don't think immediately though. If BL could speak to me in person, what would he say? If BL could speak to me in person. You surprised people with how you handled something? Yeah. I feel like this person would make the conversation about like acknowledging attributes about you that they did not see before, or like pointing out something that it would make sense that they would point out that you did well, that maybe you wouldn't necessarily expect them to speak it in that way, if that makes sense. Message from A. Message from A. Something's being maneuvered. You just can't see it yet. This kind of doesn't feel like justice. It feels more like karma. Like some kind of good karma is rippling back, but it has to make its way through. I don't know. It feels like intrusive thoughts or self-limiting thoughts. So there's a need to make space through those thoughts for the ripple to come through in a positive way. Message for the week and a blueprint quote, please. Week 10 has been interesting. I had a feeling that you would find that one interesting. Let's see what we get first. But this is not a gentle gate. It brings up fear. Old wounds around safety, worth, and support rise to the surface. You may feel overwhelmed or alone. You may want to isolate or control everything just to feel stable. Those are natural responses to instability. But part of the work here is to sit with those responses without becoming them, to pause before panic, to ground before acting, to find stillness inside the spin. It's interesting because I answered a question for somebody else this morning off of the live, and I feel like this is a very similar response. How did I word that? You're facing old things that are rising to the surface, but with new tools. So your brain is trying to engage in the auto pattern that it was before, but it's interrupting itself because it's like, oh, well, that strategy doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to numb if I now have the tools to not numb. So it kind of feels like by this point in the codex, people's brains are kind of going into that, like, I'm trying to autopilot my old responses to these things that are rising to the surface, but my logic is now updated to the point where the things from the past, it doesn't make sense to handle them in that same way. I feel like that's also where you are. So that being said, message for the week. Yeah, 10 of Wands. In order to put down each wand, you need to acknowledge and bring awareness to what it is. So when you're carrying grief, when you're carrying like self-worth, self-value wounds, you're carrying it as if it's like a part of you. In order to put it down, you need to acknowledge, where did this come from? Why is it here? How long have I been carrying it? Why am I still carrying it? I'm actively making the choice to put it down. I feel like it's kind of this grieving process of, oh, like, I could have put these things down before, but I didn't have the tools to. So it's almost like grieving the tools that you now have, if that makes sense. Yeah, Ace of Cups in reverse. The process of refilling the cup can feel awkward when the cup was just purposefully emptied. You empty the cup on purpose and then you're refilling it and your brain's like, hold on. I feel like that's the turnaround, I guess is what I'd call it. So the way out is express. Tell yourself how you feel. Explain to yourself how you feel. That's what your brain's looking for. What's the meaning of my nightmare of cancer coming back and having to rehome my dogs? I wasn't afraid to die, but I wasn't ready because I had more wanted to do. What is the meaning of your nightmare? What is the meaning of your nightmare? There's just things that your brain didn't process. Energy is not destroyed. It's only transformed from one form to another. And it feels like there's some, like a ball of energy that your brain before was like, oh, I can't deal with this right now. I can't process this right now. So it put it somewhere and your brain is now choosing to transmute that or filter it out through dreams. It's not a premonition. He's facing backwards. It's not a premonition. It feels like your brain is just processing trauma it didn't have the tools to process before. I'm feeling icky. Oh my gosh, and I just dropped the whole deck. I'm feeling icky. What's going on? Well, we're going to take the ones that fell on the floor. Feels like there's something that you need from yourself that you're not giving yourself. A debt to self, clarity, shadow. Like something coming to the surface that you're longing to do, to change, to experience, but almost like you're not taking it as important enough. Like even if it's a little change, maybe you want to wake up earlier and start having more of your day to yourself or like something like that. It feels like it's not about what the thing is. It's about denying yourself the importance of giving it to yourself. All right, let me go back to this list. Coming up on 4 years anniversary, my husband, 4-year anniversary of his passing is the 18th. Does he have a message and a song? Is that Thursday? This has been a really hard year for you. Love Me Back by Max McNown. Slowing down time in a dandelion breeze. I blew a wish into the wind and you laughed at me. I gave you a smile and you said, what does that mean? Said I ain't ever been the kind to find a 4-leaf. Oh, you were the 4-leaf clover. Okay. So your last year has been very difficult, but he's almost noting like this anniversary being the new year for you, like new year starting early. So he's acknowledging the difficulty, but also like, you've been my 4-leaf clover. Watch me send you a 4-leaf clover type of thing. I've given you my heart and all the love I have, and I'm just lucky that you love me back. Aww. What do my guides want me to know in a song? Whatever just happened through you, it was to get you to be vulnerable with yourself because of you're about to express something and it requires you to have that type of vulnerability unlocked with yourself. So whatever it was, it's behind you now and it served its purpose because whatever that is unlocked now. Does my mom know why we chose today to go bridal dress shopping? A Cut This Deep by Ike Duick. Oh, how far we've come from the grace of our love. Now you're breathing in dust. Has something to do with your mom. Has something to do with... Let me see. I almost feel like there's a tinge of something that's meant to be not like funny, but like a, your mom knows what it is. I'm trying to explain how I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it like a hook. Like you want to hook these two experiences together of something that relates to a past aha. Like your mom's energy would be like aha to this moment. That's what I'm getting. But she knows, yes. Will I be moving into a long-term relation or leave it as is? I feel like there's some kind of transition happening. So I don't think that this is something that would be long-term. This is something that's eventually coming to an end here. And there's some kind of, like you eventually choose this. So I feel like leave it as is. How will the solstice and 3i Atlas energies assist me? Something that you want more information about. Like, it doesn't feel like this is energy from the outside. This is like something interests you and you start looking into it and it turns out to be a seed that you can continue to water. So I guess maybe like intellectual inspiration would be the word. Trying to see if there's anybody didn't get yet. Any insight on me doing a heavy metal detox and should I purchase Rogers Hood products? Any message from your experience doing a heavy metal cleanse? Make sure you do the binder and the heavy metal detox, because if you don't do the binder, it'll come through your skin and it's very, very itchy. That's my advice. And usually the binder is separate than the heavy metal detox. The one that I use is on my stand store. Okay. I feel like there's more preparation you need before starting this. I don't know if this is like approval from a health practitioner, but although they don't really ever encourage that, I don't really think. I guess I would say make sure that all of your ducks are in a row before beginning this. So make sure that your nutrition, hydration, all of that is where you want it to be before doing the cleanse. I feel like energetically it's going to be very draining for you, which they do often make you very tired. So I think that the message is to get everything else in place to combat that from the beginning, because that energy drop could take a toll on your like schedule or routine. Should I prepare for an early arrival of my baby due late February? Early arrival. I'm not necessarily seeing like extremely early. This is more of like, we're kind of thinking it's going to be that date, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere I'm in the hospital and baby's here. Like that's kind of the vibes I'm getting, but not early. Maybe like a week. I don't think like early. I just think quickly. Like it goes from oh, I kind of am a little crampy to oh, the baby's here. It feels like that. but not necessarily early. What is Anna trying to do with lying to my daughter about a phone call made to the father by my mother? What is she trying to do with the lie? Drive people apart. Drive people apart so that someone doesn't find out about something that she wants them to not find out about. Trying to do with lying to my daughter about a phone call made to her father by my mother. It's like I'm trying to be the puppet master behind someone's reactions is kind of the vibe, but it's to pull people apart. Message from Pippa about her passing. That was her that brought you some kind of comfort right after, and she's kind of giving me the message of like, that's all you need to know, because I feel like you were worried about her transition, but whatever that comforting thing was that happened like soon after, like within days after, where I feel like you were kind of like, hold on, I feel like that was her confirming that she's okay. Like that's all you need to know, because if I wasn't okay, how would I have done that? That's the message. Where's my tokens? Hold on. A leaf. Number 71. Claire answered your question. Guys, sometimes if you put two questions close together, I don't do both of them. Why are helicopters flying around my neighborhood? Something within a perimeter trying to figure out from one side to the other. So like, I don't know if it's like, it feels like something like measuring this side versus this side of a certain perimeter is what I'm getting. I almost feel like it has something to do with energy or electric or something along those lines, or maybe like the grid, like internet waves or something. This side versus this side of a certain perimeter is being measured. Will I get a spark by the end of the year in regards to my spiritual work? I don't think spark in the way that you're looking for spark. This is like an itch that you're going on the path of scratching. So like you're going to have something that interests you that's going to start pulling you forward, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be the spark. I think it's what gets you to reignite the spark eventually. But I don't think it's necessarily by the end of the year. I feel like maybe you're looking for some kind of like aha moment. And I feel like that aha moment is something that you get on the hook for, and then you follow that somewhere as opposed to it just happening. Does that make sense? Messages for the month. Messages for the month. I think this is like a pro-con list. Like there's either something you're deciding between, or you're trying to figure out what it is that you're working towards. And there's a need to get very clear and just sit and write down either your different options or pros and cons list. It feels like that's the first step, almost like you're looking for a step forward, but the step forward comes from organization at the current point. Does my brother have the same disease I have, and will he need an operation? There's some similarities, but it's presenting different. I think at this point, he's going to be able to avoid. Maybe the similarities is like you have a more advanced version of it. It's either slightly different or like yours is more advanced to the point where he wouldn't need the surgery that you needed or something like that. Like his is like stopping before yours. But I kind of feel like it's something that's a little different. Like it's not the exact same. Almost like you have a different branch of. How I'm seeing it is like a nerve. I don't know if it has anything to do with nerves literally, but like a nerve. Like yours is the whole nerve and his is like a branch off of the nerve, hypothetically. Message from my future self around the holistic work I'm doing. Am I doing enough? Feels like your third eye, like there's a debt to your third eye. So like your third eye wants to visualize something and then see it all the way through in terms of holistic work. So like something that would be a possible solution or possible relief or possible something, like a goal that's actionable. Taking something from a seed and seeing it all the way through. Holistic work plus third eye. I feel like that's the next step. So not that you're not doing enough, but that's what comes next. Is the job position I spoke to the recruiter about the one that I will get? I think you're going to get one, but I don't think it's that one. This is a financial solution, but you haven't really seen which direction that will come from yet. So I don't think that's going to be the one. It may be something like in the same type of business because that Five of Pentacles in reverse is there. Am I meant to lead by speaking, by stabilizing, or by holding space others don't know they need? Speaking, stabilizing, or holding space. I mean, it can be a combination. I would say don't limit yourself because this is healing. This is holding space others don't know they need. Like I've been there too, right? But this is like, it doesn't always have to be through speaking or through action. So I feel like it has a lot to do with holding space, but I wouldn't limit yourself to that because this has something to do with stabilizing as well. I'm not getting huge speaking vibes, but stabilizing and holding space feel significant. Will Jeff come to accept Charlotte as family? If so, how long will it take? It's like one step forward, one step back. Like there's progress and then it backtracks. There's progress and then it backtracks. It feels like that continues for like a year to a year and a half. I do think it's coming in that direction, but it's like almost like when it happens, it feels uncomfortable and then it makes the situation take a step back. But then it takes another step forward. So it's like this back and forth tug of war. What is the energy around me? Closing doors, learning which doors, almost like you're in this hallway and all of the doors in the hallway are open and you're starting to notice which doors that are letting in like stale air and like weird smells and like people yelling. So you're going and shutting those doors. So I guess I'd say the energy around you is conscious decisions about what belongs and what doesn't. So maybe there's a lot of overthinking around you because of that. Will the vendors of my new home wait for my new sale or pull out at some stage? I feel the house is fated for me. Will they wait for your new sale? Not forever, but I think that they'll try to wait. If you can do something to like make it worth their while, like, I don't know. I don't know if it would be like a bottle of wine or like let me add on 5%. Like I feel like an offer would help to make this longer. I think they'll wait for a certain amount of time, but almost like they still have some kind of feelers out, because that page is there. It's just in reverse. They have some kind of feelers out still. Am I an empath? St. Helens Alpenglow. It shows like a mountain with a little table. Look up St. Helen. I don't know if Alpenglow is her last name. It says St. Helen Alpenglow. I feel like there's something about your story that you would relate to with her. You're an empath because you dealt with a lot as a child. So you're able to relate to every different piece of the puzzle here for other people. Healing and relief. I would say yes. Could the person that took the flooring be someone whom I had given permission to work on the house? Okay. This to me feels more like a situation where like I hire so-and-so and so-and-so doesn't do anything, but because so-and-so doesn't lock the door, or because so-and-so has someone stop by with them, it feels like that. Like it's not that person directly, but that person is the reason that it's not there, technically. Does that make sense? But it kind of feels like there's some bit of like something left open, something not done right. Like something like that is the reason why it's not there. Yeah, the world in reverse. Someone missed a step and it allowed this to happen. Is Brian right for me? Is Brian right for me? I feel like this is heading towards a certain lesson. Lovers is reverse. That means it's on the table, but it feels like there's a very hard lesson that's going to have you choose this way or that way. And it feels like you're going to end up choosing yourself in that regard. Should I get the government health insurance or will I be okay this year? Should I get the government health insurance? Is there a better option for you? I feel like if there's a different option, I feel like the different option is the better option. This feels like you're going to constantly be fighting for what you need, or you're going to constantly be having issues with getting what it says that you'll be able to get. So if there's another option, I think the other option is better. Spirits take on me focusing more on raw plants and some animal protein as needed to help body alignment. Before sensitivity test. I feel like there's a need to figure out where one specific, like maybe it's inflammation, maybe it's energy level. I feel like the message is pick what you want to focus on first and find the culprit. Like what's making my energy be off? What's making inflammation happen? I feel like the goal shouldn't be a certain amount of plant versus animal. The goal should be like trial and error to figure out what's causing symptom 1, and then after you figure that out, then go to symptom 2. It feels like that's the message, doing it in that kind of way. so that you're not just changing it just to change it, but you're actually changing it to figure out what the issue is coming from. Why did E get removed from her position? Will they come to me for help? Why did E get removed? Somebody was able to prove something that E did wrong, and someone was really invested in making sure that E was not there anymore after whatever it is that they saw that E did wrong. Will they come to me for help? This kind of feels like if they come to you and they're like, hey, how do we do this or that? But we're not offering you the position. We're just trying to get your expertise. It feels like that. I don't really like that. But I feel like whatever it is, you won't mind doing it if they come to you for help. So I feel like, I guess I want to word it as it feels like, yes, they're going to ask you for your help, but not in the most fair way. Like not like giving you your flowers for the help type of thing. Message from dogs, 1 male, 1 female, and if their health is okay. Male has digestive issues, but I always worry about the worst case. Male. I do feel like the male, it's either energy levels or something isn't as balanced as it could be. And I feel like that just has to do with the digestive issues. This isn't reading like something else big going on. It just feels like that is definitely an issue. But it doesn't feel like there's any worst case brewing. It feels like the issues are from digestive issues. And 1 female. See, female, I feel like this is like, I don't know if there's like some correlation, like I don't know if digestive issues would be like transferable. I don't know. I feel like looking at, is there similar symptoms with the female that she could benefit from the same stuff the male is benefiting from with that 10 of Swords. It's like a shared ailment, but hers is more concealed. Is kind of how I'd word that. So maybe she just has dietary sensitivities. Maybe that's it. Message from my daughter from her dad. To my daughter from her dad. She is the greatest project she'll ever work on, and sometimes that is hard to do. Sometimes that means having things not work out so that you can figure a way to get them to work out. There's something about her picking up the pieces. Okay, I'm being shown it like a puzzle. Like she was working on this puzzle, hypothetically, and she was about to put the last couple pieces in place, but like really there was a couple pieces that were off in the corner. So it's like Dave kind of pushed it off the table a little bit so that the one corner that was not correct would fall and she could put it back together. That feels like what's happening. And there's a need to know that it's going to turn out better than it would have originally, whatever it is. Dreams, intuition, and energy shifts carry my voice. Are you paying attention with the lighthouse? So you can see his signature in the puzzle getting pushed off the table, hypothetically. Message for my birthday, 12/21. That is my best friend's son's birthday, too. And it's the week that starts my birthday week. The week before. You're going to have the freedom to make a decision somewhere where you didn't see that you had a choice. Because you are no longer in a limited thinking anymore. So where before you thought you had to go with option A. Now you're going to decide between A, B, and C. It feels like something within the first 2 months after your birthday. Message from Mom. Taking inventory of the current situation will show you what you needed to learn from it. So kind of just whatever it is that feels like you're getting spun around a bush. That's not the right quote. You keep walking around the bush trying to figure out a different perspective. I feel like she's saying inventory will help you see the necessary perspective so that you cannot continue to circle it. Whatever topic you've been circling. What is 3i Atlas doing for me, spiritual and message? Sun to Me by MGK is the song. It's challenging a long-standing belief that you have about something that maybe you were hesitant to look at the possibilities of. The topics that you've been looking about that others have been discussing, I feel like, about the 3i Atlas, it's helping you relook at something that was a long-standing belief that before you were like, I see it this way and I don't need to relook at it. It's like a set thing. Now you're relooking at something and giving your belief system flexibility. That's kind of how I would word that. In what way is TL prepared to stand on me? With her non-action or being a Muppet, does she feel threatened by my knowledge or something? In what way is TL prepared to stand on me? Nitpicking your communication, trying to find any flaw in your communication. With her non-action. But behind the scenes action. Planting seeds behind the scenes in an immature way to get what I want and to stop what you want from happening. Does she feel threatened by my knowledge or something? The way you're seen, the way you're believed, or the way that you're seen. I guess that could be knowledge, but like it's more of the way that you're received. Or the way that she feels like the knowledge that you have would be received. Is Ray happier with his present relationship or the one in the past? Present. Past. Present. The present one makes more logical sense to him emotionally versus whatever the past one was. Almost like even if there's hard times in this one, it makes more sense than if I were to stick around for the hard times in the past one. Forecast for the year ahead and a song. Last Man Standing by Livingston. I've been around the world, 7 wonders, 7 seas, but when all is said and done, you're the only thing I see. It feels like whatever you called in or you're desiring requires you to set a series of boundaries. That quote that's like, how bad do you act? God will test you to see how bad you actually want the thing you asked for. That's this year. Not necessarily in a negative way, but it feels like you're going to be given opportunities like, is this really who you are? Is that really where your boundary is? And as you continue saying yes, you get closer to that manifestation. Message from my guides and spirit. You made the right decision with whatever door you shut. It feels like this was a bit ago. It wasn't like recent. And it kind of feels like it was an internal door. Like someone else's voice is no longer playing in your head. Someone else's projection has been aired out. Maybe it's a person as well, but it feels like whatever door it was, you closed the right door and you're about to see proof of that. What is my mission in this incarnation? What is my mission? Taking a mental puzzle and putting it on a public table. Something that maybe others didn't see the value in at first. Like, okay, so a mental puzzle that you saw the value in when it was in pieces, but maybe you tried to present this puzzle to other people and they were like, that's an incomplete puzzle. And you were like, yeah, I know. If you just let me put it together, I'll show you. It feels like that. Like people didn't believe in the puzzle, but once they see the puzzle, it'll make sense. That's your mission. Putting the puzzle together on a public table. Is 2026 the year to launch my new career? Yes, but not before getting all the ducks in a row. This is like a false start. So you have the opportunity to do that, but don't do it too soon. Be smart about it, right? And this kind of looks like football, like a football thing. So you have the opportunity to make the smart plays and get a goal, or you can kind of move too quick and have to kick a field goal. So it's not as many points, right? So I feel like it's about making sure that everything's set before taking the step. But once it's set, take the step. Yes. Any messages from my grandpa L for my mom? It's time for her to take the chance on herself, or take the step, or take herself seriously, or give herself the grace, or the take her own advice. I feel like there's a situation where he's saying you need to take the advice that you would give someone else about that new beginning, or that previous false start that you experienced, and how to pick yourself up from it. This 10 of Wands feels to be the energy that she's in right now. And he's like, if you take that step and take your own advice, it's putting this down. Will my husband get the job he interviewed for? I feel like he's getting his foot in the door, but maybe not that exact position. But I do think something comes with that company. I just don't think it's exactly what he expects. But yes, something's coming, just not exactly as it was like advertised, I guess. New member, thank you. You're going to be given a little spark. It's going to be up to you to nurture it. And it feels like this is an internal spark. Like no one else really sees it for a bit, but a passion that starts to ignite in you. If you follow it, it'll lead somewhere. This could be something as small as like a new topic you want to look up, or like a new habit, or something small that creates a big ripple effect. Feel my dog also has separation anxiety. Okay. And I've wanted to feed them the whole foods and not kibble, but don't know how or if that would work. Okay. So was I seeing separation anxiety, or is it also dietary something? Oh no, separation anxiety. Okay. Okay. I wanted to feed them whole foods and not kibble, but don't know how or if that would work. I would look into that more. I don't think there's enough information on the table yet. I guess depending on the male dog's restrictions, I feel like there's a need to be more specific about that approach if you were going to do that than what your current plan is. 2 more and then back to the other list. My son and his girlfriend broke up because of drama high school. Will they get back together eventually? I do feel like they will. I feel like the ball is kind of in her court right now, because she's on guard against, I guess, maybe rumors or something. But it feels like eventually the truth is seen, is how I want to word it. How does Sean truly feel about me? Like there's a lot of competition and he doesn't know if he's able to live up to, scratch that. He doesn't know if he's able to live up to what he views that you're deserving of. And it feels like it causes a bit of an ego issue because he's seeing it clearly. So I guess I'd say like conflicted would be the word. Has she taken a bribe and trying to get me set up for my landlord? Has she taken a bribe? I would say no. No, it feels more like self-protection or like I'm trying to show that I was right or something like that kind of approach. Okay, so that was the one where I said that they keep an eye on something. So when I said keep an eye on something, was that really meaning that they just need to come back and check it at the next available thing because there was a double scheduled? Or is it something? Yeah. Okay, so I wouldn't be worried about anything right now then, because this is like imbalance moving forward. So what I was reading as them needing to keep an eye on it, I'm going to say that was just them looping back around at the next appointment because of a misscheduled one. I would say nothing to worry about. At this time, at least. I had a strange experience last night. Up all night with my heart feeling weird. Message from guides. Why was your heart feeling weird? Kind of getting, when a computer just randomly starts like overheating or like making the loud like computer noise. It kind of feels like you had an update, and then that loud computer is tired type noise. Physically, energetically, it just feels like you were processing things, but this is positive. This is healing. So you were processing things that didn't have the opportunity to process before. You likely had some kind of perspective shift within like 72 hours prior to this, and this was your body then being like, oh, I can transmute that energy now because now I know how. Feels like that. Will the second part of the course go ahead in January as it might not? So safety reason I applied for another course just in case. Will the other part go in January? I feel like whatever the potential issue is, it ends up going. Are you going to end up doing anything with the second one? Now, I feel like the first one you end up going with. Did Melania do the same as Ghislaine? I feel like there's a very big role that Melania plays in, I don't know if it's like safeguarding certain, she has some kind of access or knowledge of what was going back and forth. So this almost kind of feels like Like I start to have a hunch, I start to look into things, and I get in over my head to where I can't get back out. It feels like that was how it happened in the beginning. Yeah, the sun. I would say there's some bad stuff there. Message from my guides. Message from my guides. There's a need to collect more data. It feels like there's a decision that you're trying to make, or there's something you're trying to decide to work towards. There's a need to just collect more data points about what it is that you actually desire, or what it is that you actually already have to work towards that. I'm seeing it as an Excel spreadsheet. And if you just keep filling in the boxes, you'll figure out what the decision is without having to guess it. Is my medical issue stemming from my spine or pelvis? Spine. It could be spine. Pelvis. If your spine was having issues, would that also cause your pelvis to like overcompensate and be a little bit off too? It feels like that. It feels like something's originating from the spine, but also affecting pelvis. But it kind of feels like if something's real tight and it pulls the body, and then the other thing is messed up as well, it feels like that's how the pelvis is getting affected. Will I have a new job in 2026? If so, what job will I have? I feel like there's some kind of delay, so not immediately. I feel like there's some kind of delay right now. If you end up having a new job at this point, it feels like it's going to be similar to whatever you're doing right now, but it feels like you want to be doing something different. It doesn't feel like that happens in 2026, at least not in the first 8 months. There may be some kind of change towards the end of the year if you change your strategy in which you're seeking the job. Message for the rest of the year. Pick one thing that you're not going to bring with you into next year and watch how that will ripple outward, because it feels like there's a promise that you need to make to yourself, not because of what the promise will be, but because of your ability to stick with it. I feel like if you can do that going into the new year, it'll have a big impact. Anything from my spirit guides? There's a need to get curious about what other actions you could take to make the path open up to move forward. There's something that just keeps, it's like you take 1 step forward and 2 steps back. And it feels like if you get very curious about what's the common denominator in each time I took a step back, it'll help you to not take that step back. Message from my birth father. There was some kind of repeating pattern of avoidance. It feels like avoidance of, there's a pattern that he has of talking himself out of necessary action because of not having all the the pieces, but you worked through that pattern. So it feels like whatever was previously challenging to you in regards to like overthinking or knowing you needed to take a certain action, but finding every reason to not take it, you broke out of that, and that came from him. I feel like that's something that he dealt with. Do you see a widespread power blackout simultaneously in multiple cities in the USA before the end of the year? Will it be multiple days or weeks? Some kind of delay. I do think that that's coming. I just don't think, you said by the end of the year, right? I feel like something's coming early January. I do think that the first domino of something gets definitely knocked down before the end of the year, though. I just don't think it's to that extent yet. Can you clarify what my guide meant about seeing myself in the doing? Is it getting repairs done? Changing strategy when the initial strategy doesn't work. Problem solving. I mean, I guess that could be getting repairs done because maybe the repairs you were trying to not have to do them and now doing them or something like that. But basically seeing a problem, trying it one way, that not working, and then trying another way without giving up on yourself. Feels like that's what the test is. Is my sister's health okay? I feel like there may be a bit of like a mental health imbalance where there's a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry. Maybe there's like hesitancy to look into certain things. So maybe there's like, okay, I think something might be up, but I don't really want to know the answer. It feels like that's taking a toll. But I feel like if there is anything up, it's fixable with answers. Like you got to ask the questions to get the answers to get the solution type of thing. But I feel like overall, yes. Will my upcoming ultrasound go the way I want? Yes. You might need to put your foot down, though. Okay, I think you're going to need to put your foot down. Or, like, if there's certain things that you want to happen, they might not happen unless you ask or unless you say. So I would say be very vocal with what you want. Is there any guidance on my new direction? Have I healed all of my trauma wounds? Your new direction is you boldly showing up for yourself, especially in terms of, I don't know, it's almost like there's this version of you that you've been for a while, but maybe you're second guessing how it will be received by others that have known you for a while. So this is the message of just show up as that, right? Have you healed all your trauma wounds? I feel like the trauma wound that this is focusing on is that exactly that. So maybe it's previous abandonment, but it's like you showing up for yourself despite potential pushback, despite potential questions. So I feel like that's the last chain that's broken there, is you boldly just showing up without overthinking how you're being perceived. This past week has been horrific at home. People don't know what they're doing, and now I'm seeing past all the chaos. Insight, how will I find my own balance? You're observing the pattern instead of being in it. I kind of feel like this is a bit of like a different scale of what you dealt with family. Like you're noticing different patterns that are playing out in different ways, but you're not engaging with it. So I feel like this is just looking at it from observer mode and not, she's over here, she's not in it, right? So as long as you can continue observer mode, I feel like you're going to be surprised with what it teaches you, because it's not here to punish you, it's here to teach you. Message for Sean from his brother that passed a year ago this month. Password and or song. Wherever I Go by Noah Rinker, and it's a guy playing a guitar in the river. Do you think about me when you look at the moon? It's been a long time since I heard you speak, and you never saw who I turned out to be. There's some message of like, you did it, you stuck to it, you saw it through, something along those lines from him to the brother. Okay, message passed a year ago this month. He showed me like a ticket, like almost like the brother left a certain ticket that wasn't going to make sense about what train it was to until Sean figured it out. So Sean figured out whatever this ticket was for, and he's cashed it in appropriately, is the message I'm getting. Did Melissa know it was my birthday yesterday? Okay, this is confusing because the star in reverse here is kind of giving me the vibes of I'm pushing it out of my mind on purpose, because 5 of Pentacles in reverse, I'm aware, I'm in with the information. And the Devil in reverse kind of feels like avoidance because of avoiding a shadow. So I know, but it's easier for me to not acknowledge. Or if this person has passed, then it's the opposite, where it's like maybe they gave you a sign that you didn't see. But I kind of feel like it's the first one. Reading on me and D, did I make the right choice to end things? Why did every flake on my birthday? What lesson was I supposed to learn? Did you make the right choice to end things? I feel like you made the only choice. Something had run its course. And it's like if you keep pouring into a dead end, you're only going to be pouring water on dead flowers, is kind of the vibe I'm getting with that. Why did everyone flake on your birthday, and what lesson were you supposed to learn? You were supposed to learn that okay, so if you make a decision to close a certain door and then a different hard thing happens, are you going to turn around and try and reopen the door that you already decided it was time to close? You didn't. I feel like that was the lesson. You're not going to, what's that one quote on my card? We don't drink poison just because we're thirsty. I feel like that was the lesson. New member, thank you. Needing to restore hope by giving yourself something to focus on. Third eye. So pick something that you can visualize as a seed and see it all the way through. And it feels like by the time you get it to the Page of Pentacles, there'll be some new energy or some new wave or some new door opening. So a new lifestyle change, a new mindset shift. Pick something as a seed and nurture it and see how far you can take it. There's a need to restore hope in your ability to visualize in your third eye. How will the state's visit at work go for me on Tuesday? I'm a teacher on record on paper, but not practice. Will I have to teach, be interviewed, etc.? They're viewing you from all different ways of perception. So it feels like it's more of like go about what you typically do and let us watch you. But King of Cups, I do feel like you're going to be stepping into a teacher of record on paper, but not practice. I feel like you're going to be doing more than you typically do. But they're going to want to watch you go through the motions to some degree as normal, but more than you normally do. But I feel like it'll go well. Is Sean holding something from me, or has he cheated on me? Is Sean holding something from me? Feels more like holding back. Like I'm aware that I'm not letting you see all of me, even though the degree of whatever we have, my role says that I should be giving you 10 out of 10, but I'm only giving you 8 or 7 out of 10 emotionally. It feels like a holding back like that. I'm not getting cheating though. Thank you. Let me see if you left a comment. Okay, I don't see one. Let's see. What do you need to know? It's giving look before you leap. Make sure that you're getting all of the intel so that you can make an educated decision on something. You're going to make the right decision if you give yourself all the data points. Don't rush anything that gives you any inkling that you should sleep on it instead of rushing forward with a decision. Message with token from God. Elfin. It means like finished or something. What's finished? There's some kind of limitation of choice that's finished. So it feels like the next, you're going to be deciding between yes, no, left, right, up, down. Whatever one feels like the more bold decision is going to be the one that calls you forward. I'm going to do 2 more and then back to the other list. I have a creative project I've been wanting to do, and I feel like my guides are really pushing me to go ahead and get started. Is that the case? Is that the case? Yes. Yes. Yes, but don't lose the balance that you have. I don't know if that's like, don't go ahead and dump all your savings into it off the bat. It kind of gives trial and error. So like take a step, see what works, adjust accordingly. Take a step, see what works, adjust accordingly. Don't overexert yourself, but yes, take a step forward. My nephew's cats keep having orbs show up when he films them. What are they or who? Protection. I kind of feel like the cat's been through some trauma in a past life or before you guys had him in this life. This is like protection energy. Yeah. It just feels like protection energy all around. Not letting you go through what you went through again. Like from the energies to the cat. Message from my father. He's closing the door on whatever was a continuous cycle of like, you'd get close to a goal and then through no fault of your own, you would like have something happen or your energy levels would drop or there'd be chaos or something. He's like, this time you're getting the green light to go forward without getting close and having it ripped from you. Unexpected blessing for the upcoming winter break. Ground it and high vibe. Normally I create my own peace and such. Wheel of Fortune and the Lovers. Clarity. Unexpected blessing is some kind of clarity. Clarity on proof that you made a previous right decision, or clarity on, oh, that's the decision that I want to make going forward. Traveling to Cancun with my family on 12/30. Other than minor travel delays, are there any major or minor issues we should be aware of? No. No. As many decisions as you can make ahead of time, make them. I feel like that would be my only thing. Like, if you can pre-plan certain things ahead of time instead of trying to do it while you're there, I feel like there's some benefit from that. But other than that, no issues. Where's my mouse? There we go. Grandma, hello. Grandma Anna, my guide, visited me. Third eye activation. Any message? It's the light turning back on. You sat in the dark for long enough and learned what you needed to, and now the light's back on. It's not that you've become anything else that you weren't already. It's just that you can see who you are more clearly now. My niece had a dream my mom was holding a naked baby boy. She took the baby, but my mom disappeared. She started a new job, so figured that was it. A month later, she learned she's 6 weeks. Your mom said, surprise. Yeah. Third eye in reverse. Bet you didn't see that coming. The baby. Wheel of Fortune. Your niece had a dream. Your mom was holding a baby boy. She took the baby. Mom disappeared. It feels like that was your mom giving her the baby. I don't know what else to say. Let's see. Number 7 may be significant. P.S. That's actually really funny. P.S. You were never meant to carry this alone. I see the weight you're holding, the quiet burdens you don't speak about. You don't have to do this by yourself. You're allowed to ask for help. You're allowed to let others in. You're allowed to release what's too heavy to hold. You don't have to be the strong one all the time. I never needed you to be. Let yourself lean on others just like they lean on you. Your mom did that so that she could show everybody she's still very much there with you. If You Could Feel My Love by Viox. Your mom's funny. Here's the baby. Apology Song is playing by Adrian Nunez. I'm sorry that I had to pass that way, but I'm making sure you know I'm still here by something as obvious as a dream about a baby and then a literal baby. That's your mom being direct. Very direct. It was the first dream she's had of my mom since she passed. Your mom's like, I've got a special occasion for you. Watch this. For my next trick, how to prepare for 2026 regarding job, finances, romance. Prepare for romance that you don't see coming. I feel like this is saying you're becoming your own muse in 2026. Look at it as, in what ways, if I was going to become my own muse, what would I want to inspire in myself and how could I do that? Because when you give yourself that, you're going to attract that in externally as well. What about job and finances? You're going to be working through some kind of fear as it pertains to stepping outside of your comfort zone. So prepare to be your own muse and step out of your comfort zone. Will Sierra overcome her addiction? I feel like she needs different not that there's anything wrong with the support she has now, but when we adjust to something and we're like used to that being there, it feels like the support system around her isn't necessarily going to be the one that sees her all the way through this. So maybe that's different people to talk to, different crowds to be around. Maybe it's a whole change of scenery. I feel like it's possible, but it's not in the trajectory with the current support system. But I don't think that it's because the support system isn't trying to be supportive. I think it's just that her brain has adjusted to that type of, like, someone could give her the best reason as to why it's better to take a different path, but because her brain has heard it from that person X amount of times, it's going in one ear and out the other. I feel like there's a need to change up the type of support. And then I feel like there's high potential for it to go in a better way quicker. Sorry, I'm going through. Hold on one second. Yes, hopefully I'll have one-on-ones open eventually again, as soon as I have more. My schedule's too all over the place right now, but I will eventually, yes. Will getting my diet back on track assist me with my focus, especially in regard to my spiritual work? I mean, justice being reversed here is interesting because it's kind of giving mind, body, not working together as a team, putting down the burden. But it also feels like the energy of being present in the moment unlocks through getting that back on track, which obviously helps with spiritual work. So it's not that it's directly impacting spiritual work per se, it's that it's affecting your ability to be present in the moment. Should I choose option A, B, or C for Christmas? I would say B, unless there's not enough time. I feel like something with time may be off for B. So if you can't get B in time, then C, but I think B is the first choice. If you look up for the heavy metal cleanse, what's her name on there? The Detox Mama on Instagram. She has a ton of really good information about the detox. There's also some not pleasant pictures, so just a warning about that. What is the meaning of the recurring dream from my childhood that I just got again after watching the Gate video? Oh, about the Gate video. Guys, I made cards. Look at this. I worked on this all day yesterday. I have all different images, and then I used my label printer and I put different words on there. So we're going to do a little investigation. What was your question? What is the meaning of the recurring dream that you just got again after watching it? It's observing a slowly moving shape from two different standpoints. Your brain's trying to put pieces into place to complete the puzzle. Repressed memories. The recurring dream is triggered by repressed memories. I want to see what card comes out for that, actually. Observing a slowly moving shape from two different standpoints rapidly. Oh, the shapes. These shapes. Pattern blocks and logic manipulatives. Maybe that's a clue for you. Message from my angels regarding my spiritual life. You learned how to be patient with your emotions without trying to escape the room. I feel like you finally are looking at it as all of these are data points, which required you kind of taking your hands away and opening your eyes and being like, oh, okay, I can handle this. So whatever it was before that your autopilot pattern was to escape yourself, you're no longer doing that. Message from my grandma. Whatever didn't work out made space for you to be able to expand, like your energy expanding. If you would have had the container that you were in before, the expansion wouldn't have been as doable. Like the glass that shattered before shattered by her hand. Like she threw it on the ground so you'd have a bigger container. Will my brother ever get his life together and get his own place? That looks positive. I feel like there's a major turning. We have 2 3s. I feel like there's a major turning point in about a 3-year period. 26, 27, 28, 2028-ish. But I feel like he needs either whoever this is, you or someone, he's going to need that support all the way through. Will things improve financially within my home in 2026? Yes. Yes. You're connecting the dots and making slow and steady progress. It feels like first it's stress reducing before it's anything like improving, but the stress reduce is also an improvement. Mm-hmm. Will Angie have a roomie and playmate soon? Will Angie have a new roomie? Yeah. It feels like there's something that doesn't work out and then very quickly followed by something that does. So maybe it's like I get my hopes up and then that doesn't work and something knocks on the door right after. So maybe not as soon as you mean soon, but soon-ish. Will I get the job with PwC? I feel like there's something better coming for you. Yeah, I feel like there's something better coming for you. I would say don't stop looking because it feels like whatever comes in is going to end up being what you actually want it. Whereas it feels like with this, something isn't quite like as advertised or you wouldn't like it as much as you maybe anticipate. Message from my mom and a song. All That Really Matters by Aluminum. Oh, there's no lyrics. Learning how to live when there's no one around. Learning how to feel. I feel like there's a need to acknowledge how much like better or easier you're handling things this year. I feel like this has to do with the holiday season than you typically did in other years. It's almost like you're not giving yourself the credit. You really showed up for yourself this year is the quote. We had an orb floating around at the end of October right in front of our house. You know what it was? I did not feel fear. It kind of feels like it would. Okay, so if there's someone that you would have on the other side, it kind of feels like someone was sending a test to see if they could send you signs, if that makes sense. Like, it feels like what you were seeing was to see if you would be afraid, so that there could be either more signs or confirmations, like almost like like an angel knocking on the door to see if you'll answer or run away. That type of thing is how it feels. Almost like if they threw a snowball to see if you'd run from it. Should I start looking for a new full remote job? I think you can start putting feelers out there, but I wouldn't leave where you're at yet. I wouldn't leave until you find something that you like better, not just something that you can tolerate. Like, if you're going to leave, find something that would be a step up. Is my brother mad at our father only or the whole family? Mad at your father, disappointed, I guess would be the word. No, it's like madder than that. Agitated at the way that other people are. I feel like what he views is taking sides, even if you're not. It feels like because how he thought people should handle it was not how the way they handled it, he's viewing it as they took a side. And I feel like you know exactly what I mean when I say that. I don't think it was you specifically. I think it's someone else that he views as not taking a side, or as taking a side because he anticipated maybe someone standing up to your father or like handling something more boldly. We take one step forward and 10 steps back financially. Will we find stability soon? Feels like there's a money wound here at the root of this. Like a belief that hard times will last forever, a belief that you'll have to always overexert yourself to make ends meet, a belief that there's not enough. Not as quickly as you'd like. I feel like it's about working through that, the source of where this money wound code is coming from. I almost want to say it feels like you're not realizing that we take one step forward and 10 steps back. I feel like there's a need to take a step back to be able to see the whole picture of something. So it's almost like you're not wanting to take a step back because you keep getting pushed back. But if you consciously are the one to choose to take the step back to see the bigger picture, feels like that's a first step of something in whatever way that translates to you. Message for my husband, son, and I for 2026 and a token. Being really curious about being very curious about the way that one another's communication styles are changing. Like, do you still communicate in the same way now this year that you did last year or 2 years ago? Kind of like giving like an update. Yeah, the tools, the nuts and bolts. Communication is what makes the family stick together in a healthy way. So I guess I'd say like updating one another on the best communication styles or languages. Message from my guides with a token. It's a hammer. What are you hammering? Freedom. Okay. Oh, you know, like the little thing on the back of the hammer when you pull the nails out? It's like you're pulling away all of these swords now for freedom, and you're doing it with your curiosity. Anything that feels to be working at a speed right now that's working against you, get really curious about what could be blocking the flow, because it feels like there's certain things that if you just pull it a little bit, the blockage will be removed. Have I experienced significant spiritual growth this year? You finally faced, how do I word this? I feel like before this year, you were guilty. You felt guilty about your boundaries. But this year, you did the work to realize that you deserve to have those boundaries in place without shaming yourself for them. Because I feel like the boundaries that you had to set were with people that you didn't expect to have to set those kind of boundaries with. So yes. Message from my guides. Message from my guides. Sometimes we need to stumble so that we can remember who we are when we're picking ourselves back up. It feels like you're learning how to listen to how your intuition communicates with you in new ways. And in order to do that, you're learning about that Morse code by falling and getting back up. It's Not Your Fault by Max McNown is playing. Let me go down a little bit. What am I letting go in my dreams? What am I letting go in my dreams? The way that you had to take the place of being there for yourself in ways that others should have. I feel like there's a lot of times you're looking back on where you're realizing that there were a lot of like fair weather friends or people who benefited from you but weren't necessarily there when times got hard. And it feels like there's a specific one of those times where you had to shoulder it on your own. That's what you're working through. I had a dream about G. Is he coming back into my life? In my dream, he showed up at my childhood home. I had a dream about G. It's not about G. It's about what it relit in you. Something that needed to be relit. So follow that. In a dream, he showed up in your childhood home. So think about what was the dream about? What feelings were evoked? What childhood things got brought up through this? It's more about that than the person. All right, let me go to this list. I'm going to close super chats. Okay. I'm going to go through this list and then I'll finish on the other list. My daughter walked in on me and someone. I told her it was a dream. Does she believe it was really a dream? And will she tell anyone, specifically A? Does she believe it was a dream? No, she does not believe it was a dream. Will she tell anyone, specifically A? I think so, yeah. But not in like a malicious way, more of like a curious way. Like I may say something without realizing what I say, or ask something without realizing what my question implies, type of thing. What would my school do say if I got sick on Tuesday and missed the inspection? I do not think they will be pleased. I mean, maybe if you like are like visibly sick on Monday, they might not be able to say anything about it on Tuesday, but short of that, I don't think they're going to be very pleased about it. Yeah. Unless you can somehow make yourself also sick where they can see it on Monday, I would be very careful about doing that. It feels like they're not going to take that too well. Will my kitty Bender be cured from his illness soon? I don't see it getting worse. I just don't see it getting better very quickly. I feel like it's something that maybe like ebbs and flows, where it's kind of like sometimes you're worried about it popping back up or something. But I don't think it gets worse either. So not soon, but it's not going to escalate. I would say just keep doing what you're doing and try and keep your stress levels down. I don't see it getting worse though, but I also feel like it's something that is like, whatever it is, it's meant to take a certain amount of time. Like it's not something that goes away quickly, typically anyway, if that makes sense. Like it's not that he's taking so much longer than regular. What message was I getting earlier about leaving home? Not making any quick decisions or jumping into anything too quickly. Not necessarily overthinking things, but making sure that you're definitely thinking them through, maybe taking a step back before proceeding to make sure that you have all of the necessary potential complications worked out in your mind. My mom has very bad arthritis and bone issues for a long time. She can barely walk now. Do I play a part in her healing, and what can I do to help her? Helping her mind. Maybe this is perspective shifts that you could help imply or incite. Maybe it's certain knowledge, like maybe you could read up or research certain things and then give her the results of what you found, and that could help. It feels like that, like either literally helping her perspective and her mind to think about things differently, or you doing certain research of things that would help her and then bringing her that intel. Message with token from guides. Are they pleased with me? Safe with Me by Ike Duick is playing. And it's a thing on empty, but it was in reverse. So fool, you're fully safe with me. I feel like you cleared out some kind of like, I always say that our spiritual connection is like a straw. I feel like whatever was clogging your straw, you cleared it out because you learned how to trust yourself. Yeah, that's what it was. You learned how to trust your interpretations, and you learned how to know that if your guides are giving you something, it's because it's important and not because you're overthinking or asking too much. I feel like your guides are saying you used to think that you were asking for too much by asking for like information or support or clarity. And now you're starting to realize that you're not asking for too much. Had a dream about A, having a baby, and she texted me a couple days later and said a female friend of hers had a similar dream. Was this predictive or a warning? Dream about A, have A, she texted me a couple days later and it's another dream. I don't know. I feel like there's something off about the other friend's story. I kind of feel like A couple days later and said another friend had a similar dream. I almost feel like this was something where someone's telling a story and the friend's like, oh yeah, me too. It kind of feels like that to me. So yours may have been predictive. But not for right now. No, I feel like something's off about that. I don't think it was a warning though either. Did I make the right decision by quitting my past-time job? I feel like it was meant to be transitionary anyway. I feel like it was meant to be transition anyway and was some way hold back from being inspired. So I would say yes. Will my husband take a new job at the company in 2026? And if so, when? I feel like there's a bigger change towards the end of the year. Take a new job at a new company. I feel like there's a big change towards the end of the year, but I almost feel like it may not be necessarily at a new company. There's a big change towards the end of the year that he doesn't see the trajectory of it coming yet. What's the tea on your biggest scammer? There's a lawsuit. That's the tea. People just want me to shut up. That's all. But I'm about a step and a half away from the records of the IP addresses, so we will know more soon. Would the dog sensitivity test from the store help? Would the dog sensitivity test? It'll give you a starting point. I feel like it's more about what it will rule out for you. Like, it's not going to give you all the answers, but it'll show you what to not waste time looking into, if that makes sense. Oh no, I lost my place. My guide said we work in a new way. Any idea what way? They're using examples of what didn't work out in the past to show you the way forward now. So like maybe a friend is talking to you with a certain energy and your brain is correlating that to a past experience. It's like you're having the opportunity now to choose, am I going to automatically attach this to a past situation, or am I going to look at this with fresh eyes? So I guess I would say your guides are bringing to your attention things that could relate to the past, but also could be a new experience, and giving you the opportunity to choose, is this something that belongs in the past, or is this something that's a new pattern forming? You're getting a chance to see the patterns from outside of the patterns, I think is a better way to word that. Should I sell the other commercial building or keep it for the extra monthly income? Should I sell the other commercial building or keep it for the extra monthly income? How bad is it stressing you out? This kind of gives me the vibes of like, is your stress level with this to the point where the money's not worth it? And would there be a better way to invest that wouldn't stress you out as bad? I think that the measuring is to get clear about exactly how much of my energy is going into being stressed about this. Because if it's not that bad, I would keep it. But it does feel like it's stressing you out. So it's just about where that line is drawn. Get a calendar. And every day for the next like month or two, write down from 1 to 100, how bad is this topic stressing you out that day? And then look back at it and say, is this worth X amount of dollars? I feel like your answer is going to come to you so quickly if you do it that way. Grandma and Aunt Gail. Don't know what to ask. Hopefully they're sending some good baby pregnancy. This baby is going to heal the part of you that you feel like you lost. Like like you're healing your inner child through this baby. You're healing your belief in yourself through this baby. It's like they're saying, trust that what you've been looking for within yourself, you're about to find. A person from my past knows something, even if they don't realize it. Your grandma and your Aunt Gail. When I Get Where I'm Going by Brad Paisley and Dolly Parton. The hot air balloon. It's like they're looking down. They're looking down, excited to see you find yourself again. Here is the message. Danielle looked up about holding the calcification on my shoulder, and it says I'm holding on to the past. What do I need to let go of to get rid of this pain? Not trusting expression. You always feel like you're not doing enough, saying enough to help other people. You're always looking for what you're missing or what more could be done. Trusting that being in flow will make it so that you are giving what needs to be given and then you're not missing out on anything. I feel like the what you're shouldering is people around you have dealt with a lot that it wasn't up to you to fix it, but because you weren't able to fix it, you're still holding on to it because there's a part of you that knows maybe if they would have taken your advice or if they would have seen it a different way, it would have helped, but because they didn't. So I think it's putting down the belief that you're not doing enough. I'm going to do like 2 more and then I have to go make Gavin lunch. Hold on, I'm trying to find question. One second. Is there anyone I didn't get at all? Has John S. abused JC in any way? I'm not getting that, no. There may be a bit of not giving full attention or giving full, like, I'm not upholding the totality of my responsibilities, but it doesn't look like, it's not reading as abuse. Should I speak up against someone who hurt me or will it cause more pain? I mean, both. I feel like for you, it would help you to speak. Speaking is also going to cause pain, though. I feel like for you and for the situation. But it feels like there's a relief if you do. So I feel like if you can safely do it to the point where you know that there's going to be some kind of pushback here or some kind of, it feels like purposeful manipulation. You know there's going to be this from the other party. So if you're at the place where you can handle that, then if you can safely do it, do it. Because there is a release for you, but there's a release only if you're still knowing that you're going to be dealing with either manipulation or gaslighting or something from that other party. All right, everyone, I'm going to hop off. I need to go feed Gavin. I'm going to try and do the live earlier in the week this week. Maybe Wednesday. We'll see. I'll schedule it as soon as I can. Thank you for being here. I will talk to you all soon.